Let's go starting up the stream. Oh, I have the wrong one on. Sorry. I had the wrong one on. Let's fix that. Starting up the stream. Here we go. Yep. Got it. Here we go. Are we out? Online. We're everywhere. We're live. We're good to go. So now I'll push the other button and say, hello. Good morning. Welcome to Podcast Pontifications, the live taping of Podcast Pontifications, you understand. This is not the real show, but weirdly enough, my video's doing something weird. What if I did that? No? All right. What if I did this? Show webcam settings. Let's go basic. Oh, first off, I'm done hearing myself twice. All right. Let's turn that off. And let's go to advanced where it says focus. And then turn autofocus off. And now turn for autofocus on again. Oh, and look like that. It automatically works. It's scary how that works. Again, not the live show, people. This is the live taping of the live show. Hello, Betty. Good morning. Lovely to see you. Today we're going to talk about... What's the topic today? Oh, yes. The title is Playing Up or Down Your Podcasting Personality. That's where we're going in just a moment. But for the new people who are out there, hello, you're watching a live taping. Again, not the real deal. If you want the real deal and you don't want to sit through all of this where I just basically clear my throat and try to put in practice the vocal exercises I've done to get my voice to where I want it to be, yeah, that's what we have to do in the podcasting world. If you want to skip all of that, you can. Podcast Pontifications is where all of this is going to live in about 3 hours. 2 hours and 59 minutes, according to my watch up there. You'll get the edited audio. You'll get an article that I write up based on the notes I'm about to say. All that goes to podcastpontifications.com. And go to the bottom, Podcast Pontifications in your inbox, and sign up. You'll get an email every single time the show drops that contains a link to the audio file and the full article, all nice and handy-dandy, so you don't have to leave the comfort of your own chair. Of course, if you like listening to the show, that's available on all the podcast platforms, because why would it not be? Well, hello, Bruce. Nice to see you, and what a lovely backhanded compliment. It's a good thing we're friends. It's exactly the same kind of backhanded compliment I would do. By the way, if you're watching, Bruce is watching on LinkedIn, so is Betty. You can also watch this on the Twitter, on YouTube's, and Facebook. Speaking of friends of ours, Bruce. Right. Oh, Betty, I know you're always curious on what the tea that I'm drinking is today. So when I was at the Chinese market, Asian market, but they're Chinese, I bought some I've been in the hunt for ginger tea, as you know. Well, here's a funny thing about the Asian market down the way from me. All of the ginger tea they have isn't called ginger tea. It's called ginger drink. And when you look at the ingredients of ginger drink, it's mostly sugar. Ginger drink with honey crystals. Oh, I'm sorry, you mean sugar. So I was looking, and I finally found something that are called organic, which I don't care about, organic ginger bags. And I looked at the back of it, and you know what's in it? Nothing but ginger. So this is just dried ginger in a tea bag, soaking in water. So that's plenty warm. Yeah, well, that's good, though. That takes that phlegm that I'm feeling in my throat that I don't really have on my vocal folds, and it just knocks it right out. So that's lovely. That's really good stuff. So anyhow, right, okay. I think I am sufficiently warm. I will now get into the real deal. Fair warning, this is going to start a little bit heavy, but relax. It gets very, very light. But I got to start heavy because this I'm delving into a topic I have no business delving into, and I certainly don't want to injure anyone. So that's what I'm going to do. So first I'm going to read the preamble. No, this is the preamble. I'm going to read the cold open. Yes, there we go. And that is, sometimes we just need a change in our podcast, either subtle or fundamental. But one thing remains the same, us. What do we do when some aspects of our personality just aren't perfect for podcasting? All right. That's what we're going to do. You can leave me chats. I won't see them till I come back. Hello, Arlen. You know how it works. I will be back as soon as I get the show done. I'll come back and answer your questions. Okay, here we go. On the count of... Oh, wait. What happened to QuickTime? Come here, QuickTime. Come back up. There you go. Here we go now. Sometimes we just need a change in our podcast, either subtle or fundamental. But one thing remains the same: us. What do we do when some aspects of our personality just aren't perfect for podcasting? Hello and welcome to another Podcast Pontifications with me, Evo Terra. Before we get started, I am not a psychologist. So, if you have a personality disorder, if you're in therapy, or you're working with a professional mental health provider, do what they say, not this moron. All right? Now, there's a lot that we can change about our podcasts. We can change the topics because, we're people and we have lots of interest and lots of experiences. Or we can even learn new experiences and pass that knowledge along in our podcast if that's what we wish to do. We can change the angle that we take because, again, we're persuasive people and we know that subtle shifts in how we talk about something might make that topic more palatable to the people on the other end, might make our case better, if you will. We can change the format of our podcast because we know that millions of shows already exist and something like 20,000 new shows are added every single week. So we're constantly being exposed, if we're paying attention, to new people doing new things and with their format. We can change the branding elements for a fresh look of our podcast, or even the branding elements inside of our podcast episodes for a fresh sound. Going further, we can change our voice. We can use speech-language pathologists or even vocal coaches. They give us more confidence that we are sounding the way that we really want to sound. And there are a myriad of other subtle changes and really, really big changes that we can make to our podcasts. But what about our personality? Now, I'm not qualified to answer the question definitively. Can people change? I'm not answering that question. Nor am I going down the path of whether or not you should or should not, or anybody should or should not change basically who they are. But I will say that there may be some aspects of your personality that are more affected habits, really, muscle memory in the brain, to use a layperson's thinking metaphor around this. And I'm going to use me as an example for that. So if you know me, I'm pretty quick with the joke, which makes me, in my opinion, kind of a rotten interviewer. But I recognize that about me. That's why I don't do a lot of interview shows. However, weirdly enough, I'm actually paid to interview people. Not on this show, and not on anything related to the topics of podcasting, or honestly things I'm very interested about. But I am paid to do these short conversations with professionals in markedly unfunny topics. So why do I do this? Well, partly because I get paid to do that, and that's important, but also because suppressing my own natural knee-jerk, let's crack a joke now, quickly, Evo, that's helping. I think it makes me a better, more rounded, better overall podcaster. Let's talk about my friend Don. I'm just going to call him Don because that's his name. Don's a long-time podcaster who has successfully monetized a long-running, multi-host show. But Don also, in the decades almost he's been podcasting, realizes he's never done a solo show or a scripted show. So now he's quietly experimenting on doing both of those on a semi-secret show. And it's very likely the show's not going to continue. In fact, he said straight up it's not going to continue after the 10 episodes. But I bet that he is going to take the lessons learned and then incorporate those new aspects of his own personalities, not new aspects, but uncovered aspects, and incorporate those for his multi-host podcasting efforts. Or take my other friend, Terry. We'll call him Terry because, again, that's his name. Terry's taking a break from his podcast right now. It's changed names and changed focus and direction many times. But Terry right now is finding really good success in a short-form video platform. which is interesting because Terry, I know, is prone to waxing poetically, which makes his episodes longer than they really need to be and has a tough time cutting out the extra stuff. But this new restrictive, shorter format stops him from doing that. He can't. And because of that, Terry's going to relaunch his podcast before too long, and he's going to bring those lessons learned from that short format down, suppressing that ability, that innate need to talk forever and just get to the point. I'm not sure that any of those, mine, Don's, or Terry's, qualify for really changed personalities. Probably not. But I think that all of them recognize a change in which parts of the personality we each choose to expose, which ones you are likely to see and or hear on the podcast. We're de-emphasizing some parts and emphasizing other parts, maybe recently discovered parts. And all of that's making for a better podcast, not just for them, but also for their audiences. Now, if you know of someone who's letting maybe a part of their personality, maybe they recognize that parts of their personality just aren't conducive to doing great podcasting anymore, maybe it's getting in the way of their podcasting efforts, well, share this episode or article with them to show them some ideas of how they might be able to work through that by emphasizing certain parts and de-emphasizing other parts of that. And if you love the idea and the content I bring to you every day on Podcast Pontifications, please, I appreciate it if you would go to buymeacoffee.com/evoterra and do that. Buy me a virtual coffee. All right, that's it. I shall be back tomorrow with yet another Podcast Pontifications. Cheers. Stop recording number 1. Stopped recording number 2. Going into the restreaming. All right. So there you go, folks. One more Podcast Pontifications in the bag. I hope you found that valuable, enjoyable, interesting, thought-provoking, all of those things. And if you're just now tuning into the live stream, well, you missed it. Hey, don't worry. Sure, you could back up and watch the whole thing. Or, I got a better idea for you. If you go to podcastpontifications.com, you will get the edited version of this in about 2 hours and 48 minutes. It just clicked over. And hello, Mr. Alban. 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 It's Alban Brook. Hey, buddy. Nice to see you. Yeah, what was I saying? Right. So Podcast Pontification is where this entire thing will live. And it's lovely to see your typing, Bruce. I'm checking at people that are in the chat room. So far, we got people from LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter. No one on YouTube's leaving a comment. That's cool. YouTube comments are all garbage anyhow. But it's there in case you want to get it. Anyhow, go to podcastpontifications.com. That's where all of this will be. And again, I highly recommend going to the very, very bottom section called Podcast Pontifications in your inbox. Drop your email address in there, and you will get the audio sent to you every day, plus the article, not just a handful of notes here, but actually I write a complete article of 1,000 to 1,500 words that takes everything I just said and makes it into an eyeball readable format if that's what you're into. And it's what I'm into because I'm going to go spend about an hour and a half doing it right now. Cool. What is today? Wednesday? Holy cow, it's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. We're back again tomorrow for another Podcast Pontification, then a break for the weekend. But until that time, be well, be good to yourselves, be kind, work on, whatever you want to work on. Go do things.